My name is Lia Stewart. I'm 18 years old and I'm from Jiangxing, China. I cheerlead because I wanted to try something new. I've done gymnastics my freshman and junior year, and I just wanted to try something new. I'm very outgoing, but I'm kind of shy at first, and I like to try new things and like travel. So I have a mom and a dad, and then three stepbrothers. I'm really close with my mom and dad. We do a lot of family things like Sunday night dinners with extended family too, and we travel a lot together. And then my three stepbrothers are a lot older than I am, so we don't hang out like the normal siblings would. Yeah, I was adopted at about 9 months. There was a picture of me resting on my foster mother's hip because like that's how she always carried me. So then my mom said like I would always want to be held on her side rather than like in the middle. It was always known that I was adopted, so there was never like a sit down talk like you're adopted. It was like a little blanket towel thing, so like a blankie, and it just made me feel comfortable. I didn't bring it with me everywhere, I don't think, but I did like have it when I was sleeping. Yeah, for the most part, it's not like a topic of everyday discussion for me, so I don't talk about it a lot, but I don't have an issue talking about it. I personally don't really think about being adopted because I was adopted at such a young age, so I don't feel like I really have any insecurities or issues with it. It helps to have others that are adopted around me because it makes it like a little community, but I personally don't have like meetings or with other people that are adopted to kind of cherish that day. Like I said, I don't really think about it, but it's nice to know that other people are adopted too. I don't really feel a part of the adoptee community because some people are really involved with staying in touch with their parents or like being adopted, but I never knew my parents or and it was also in a different country, so it's kind of harder to stay in touch. I don't see a difference in people that are adopted or aren't because I don't think it's an everyday topic of discussion or brought up a lot or at all. Like I didn't know a lot of peers. My peers were adopted, but I think it's really cool that people are able to talk about it with others if they want to. My definition of identity is who you are and like the characteristics that make up yourself. It kind of is your own way to express yourself and show who you are, so then you don't have to, be like her or be like him. You can be whoever you want and do what you want to do. I identify with being an Asian American because I do things like take Chinese and celebrate Chinese New Year with my family, but I was raised mostly as an American. My family is Christian, so we're not super religious, so we don't go to church or anything like that, but I did as a child, and sometimes we pray at dinner around like Thanksgiving and big events like that. There's the general morals that I was brought up with, like don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, those, and then just to really value like the people around you and to really be respectful. It does in the fact that I probably wouldn't be the same person as I am today if I stayed in China. Like my life in America is definitely different than an average female's life in China. I think being from Evanston, it's a really diverse place, so a lot of people are open-minded, especially about race, whereas some other areas might be racist or be closed-minded. Okay, so they actually went out of their way to get a Chinese babysitter to raise me. She spoke all Chinese and very little English, so I grew up speaking Chinese around her, but English with my family. Probably around middle school, where I would see her sometimes, like maybe if my parents went out of town. But now that I'm older, we celebrate Chinese New Year together, and we see each other like every so often, but not a lot. I think Chinese culture is interesting. I personally don't think I would go out of my way to learn about it because I'm not really interested as much in culture and religion, but I do think it's pretty interesting. Not really. No. Just when I was younger, our family friends were all white, so it wasn't very different being of color, but I just knew that I didn't like have blonde hair and blue eyes kind of thing. Yeah, my cousin's also adopted too, and he's biracial, so there's two adoptees in the family. Just that Asians have squinted eyes, really, and I just kind of brush it off. I just don't really like continue the jokes. No, not really. Because I think Evanston is very accepting, and you know, you could walk around with neon blue hair and still have friends and like get along just fine. My elementary school is very small. I went to Orrington, so then Haven was a lot bigger, and I was able to like meet more people, whereas my elementary school was really small. And then high school is like totally different. It's huge. There's so many more activities to do and so many more ways to be who you want to be. Yeah, I look up to my mom as a role model. Not saying that I want to be exactly like her, but we share a lot of the same morals, and she's a great person, so I wouldn't mind being like her. I actually have not seen a lot of Asians in the media. I think it would be nice to have more Asians prevalent in our society, because the only one I can think of is Brenda Song on Zack and Cody, but that's the only Asian I've like ever seen in our society that's well known. Okay, I started taking Chinese when I was younger. Like I said, my nanny was Chinese, so I spoke Chinese with her. And then freshman year, I wanted to try a new language, but my parents thought it would be more beneficial for me to continue in Chinese and try to build the language even further. Knowing Chinese definitely helped. Taking Chinese at the high school, especially with speaking, I was never really good with characters and like writing it out, so I've always struggled with that. And then our Chinese teacher for the first 3 years was really bad, so I don't think I furthered my education very much in Chinese, but I think I'll take it in college. I know that at one point they were only allowed to have one kid, so they wanted to have a male because when they're older, you know, males are stronger, so they are perceived to be able to take better care of you. I get that it's like overpopulated, but I don't think it's fair to be able to say you can only have one child, because I know in America there's a lot of issues where there's children in poverty, but yet people keep having children. So I don't think it's fair that in China they said you can only have one child, but maybe it's better. But I mean, like, people are still having children, they just go up for adoption, so maybe it is beneficial in the way that someone else can provide a better life for them. When I was younger, I didn't want to go back. I don't know why. I just didn't feel the need to. But now as I'm getting older, I'd like to go back and see it, but I don't think there's a rush. Maybe just to see it and really know where I'm from. Not really. I've thought about it like hypothetically, because, you know, there's books on people that try to find their birth parents, but it's just so far-fetched because they're in a different country and there's not a lot of information on them. I don't know, because I know that I was probably put up for adoption because of the one-child policy, so there's not really a question on, like, why did you give me up? I just would want to see if I look like them. I really have not thought about these questions, really, because, like I said, when I was just brought up as, like, you're adopted, kind of, but, like, I was very accepting of my family, so I never really thought about this, but I think of them as real people just thriving in China. I think I was placed for adoption. I think I was placed in a foster center because they went through the process to have me, so why not just give me up for adoption than just leave me somewhere? I have not thought yet about having kids, so whether that's how many or where they're from or biological. I think it's great. It's allowing people to give children better lives that maybe their birth parents couldn't give them. I think the positive effects are that they can get a better life with the adoptee parents, and the negatives maybe that they're like insecure or want to know their parents or have the blood relationship. I think just like be yourself, and if you struggle with being adopted, there's definitely a lot of people that you can talk to and try to work through your feelings.
Yeah. When I was younger, I was feeling just like you, just trying to find true people in this world who wouldn't ever defy you. I'm here to remind you never have to walk blindly. Take this song as a sign, you just have to come find me. When I thought there wasn't anyone out there I could speak to, I used it to inspire, created art I could speak through. And you can do the same instead of masking all the pain.